Hi, welcome to the Silver Spleen. My name is Dewey Cheatham, and this is my review of Dante Lamb's Fire of Conscience. Leon Lai plays a cop whose pregnant wife has been murdered. He uses his job to avoid confronting the truth of his situation. Richie plays another police officer who has a secret or three that he'll do absolutely anything to keep. Wong Baozhang plays a young man who's been working in Hong Kong in order to bring his pregnant wife here. Vivian Su plays Richie Ren's girlfriend. She's not pregnant, but it was certainly a risk at her old job. What can I say? Some people think chicken tastes better raw, from what I've read. Michelle Ye plays one of Leon Lai's team members. She takes care of him since he refuses to do it for himself. Lu Kai-chi doesn't have a wife either. She ran off and left him with their daughter, but at least she's not dead or pregnant. When I saw this movie in the cinema, I apparently didn't really care for it. What a difference a few years makes. Because now I'm saying that Fire of Conscience is a pretty interesting movie for a lot of good reasons. It has more than a few moments of graphic violence, which I found to be narratively useful rather than exploitative. They're also cringeworthy in the best kind of, oh God, I hope that never happens to me kind of a way. If I say I enjoyed that violence, I don't mean for its own sake, I mean because it managed to have an effect on me. Speaking of which, I really liked the cinematography in this movie. The colors were very saturated, but to me it helped establish the mood of the film. I enjoyed the moral ambiguity of the story and of the characters. These people are impassioned and imperfect. In their own ways, they're actually very real. And more than one of them is somebody that you don't want to fuck with. There is no clear-cut line between right and wrong, and I enjoyed that. I'm old enough and well-educated enough to handle a movie that doesn't have just a one-sided moral perspective. I'm not naming names, but I don't really want to talk about the plot too much because it would give things away. But in general, a hooker is discovered murdered, and the main suspect is wanted for a cop killing. That's the initial premise of the movie, but it certainly gets a lot more complex than that. One of the reasons it works so well is because of the acting. I think everybody did a really good job, and personally speaking, I enjoyed Lu Kai-chi's character the most, but that's just because I like him as a character actor, so what can I say? Well, I could say that the second time around, I really enjoyed Fire of Conscience, and I think it's worth watching. Not the least of which is that if you watch it, you'll get to see the Taihang Fire Dragon Dance, which happens every year during the Mid-Autumn Festival in Taihang, which is a small neighborhood near Tin Hao, which is near Causeway Bay. If you don't know where that is, look it up. Speaking of seeing interesting things, I'm not sure, but in one scene, I think I saw something that we're not supposed to see. Judge for yourself. Now, remember a couple minutes ago I said what a difference a few years makes? Well, that applies to more than my opinion. Fire of Conscience features Mandarin-speaking bad guys, a Mandarin-speaking ex-hooker, and bad cops who get away with things that in other movies they wouldn't. Fire of Conscience was made in 2010, and 4 years later I think those things would be more difficult to put into a movie. Not impossible, but certainly more difficult if you want it to play certain places. To me, those kinds of changes are a bad thing, mostly because Fire of Conscience is a really good movie, and part of the reason it's good is those things. I think you should definitely watch this movie, but you should do it by buying a disc. I doubt it's available for rental these days, but there is a link in the description where you could buy a disc. That would be a good idea. And if you don't like my stance on downloading, go fuck yourself. If you enjoyed this review, please leave me a comment. If you didn't enjoy the review, leave me a comment anyway. And if it's really stupid, well, go fuck yourself again. If you enjoy these reviews in general, please think about subscribing, because that way you'll get to see all the new videos right away. Thank you for watching. Leon Lai plays a pregnant... No, he doesn't.